title of today's conversation is The Invitation. And the song that we just heard by Jamie Lula, which is Something's Calling Me, the calling that we have in our hearts is very similar to an invitation. And that when we attune to the heart, which is what we have done through walking over the threshold, releasing what has been, anointing ourselves as the awakened one, beginning to claim that as our identity rather than having it in the background when we cross the particular threshold here, we're actually inviting that consciousness, that higher level Christ consciousness, to step in the front and to lead us during this time and as we go forth from here. And so this is the invitation of the heart to follow the heart. And the quote that I want to springboard off of today is actually from a channeling that's coming through, which is entitled The Christ Mind. And if you get our newsletter, it was the quote that was in our newsletter. And if you don't get it, you can sign up outside for that. But it says this: when you have finally had enough fear and hate, when attack holds no more attraction, and you grow weary of constant conflict, then you are ready to invite love into your life. This is a ministry of love. This ministry that we call True Thought, that is part of the ministry that comes in through me and through Brother T, is a ministry and a call to love. And it calls forth a reversal in thought system. So you guys have heard this many, many times. Any teaching, whether you follow New Thought teaching, the science of mind, or unity teaching, whether it's A Course in Miracles, no matter what the teaching is, when you're on this path of awakening, it requires a shift in consciousness. And that shift in consciousness is from the external and the world of form and effect and conditions, which tend to operate in separation and fear. And what it's saying here, that fear or hate or attack or constant conflict. So we're shifting from constant conflict to constant contact of what we've established here, and then allowing that to lead. And so the reversal of the thought system is from the outer to the inner, from the intellect, which is fabulous, but meant to be a servant of the heart, and from fear to love. And so this is about love leading and the heart leading the way, and that's the ministry. And so the invitation is for all of us. And I don't think anybody would have showed up here today if they didn't feel a calling in their heart in some way. I think that the tone, the bell, the sound has been activated, and it is calling upon us. And when something is tugging at the heart, whispering in the ear, catching and capturing your attention, which becomes then your intention, the encouragement in a spiritual community like this is that we encourage one another to follow that heart, to follow love's call. And so I love the idea of an invitation, and it feels to me as if the reactivation of this ministry is happening. It's being reactivated right now. Like something's happened where we've connected and we're saying we're going to move forward in a particular direction together. And the reason that we're together, whether you're in the camera or whether you're in this room or those who check in later and come into this energetic, it's a vibrational field. And it's an attractor field. And that we attract to one another because we are on this journey together. And so an invitation went out, and somewhere along the way you said yes, because you're sitting here right now. And so the idea that Spirit is calling us always, not just calling a few, not just calling a minister or a guru or a special teacher. You see, we're evolving beyond that era where we realize and we come to the awareness and the recognition that the Christ is within, that the guru is within, and that the intelligence and the wisdom is within, and we honor and love the teachers and the ministers who have helped to point the way. But all are called. Everyone in this room is invited. And all of those who are not in this room are invited. All are called. And eventually, it is said and prophesied that all will answer that call. And that we all have our unique journey upon our pathway that leads us to a destination that's never really changed for any of us. And it's a journey without distance, truly. And so this invitation I'm talking about is an invitation to come home, an invitation to walk the journey together as companions, holy and beloved companions, as we remind each other that we are one, that there's not one aspect of ourselves that we cannot integrate and bring into that love. And so it's like we are walking on our journey and we're invited to bring back all of the scattered pieces of ourselves that we've rejected and called bad. And as we do that for ourselves, guess what? As within, so without, we begin to see our brothers and sisters merely as reflections of ourselves. And that we begin to bring all back into this oneness, this unity, this love, energy. And so that's the universal invitation. But there are many invitations along the way. And those are the things that pull at your heartstrings, that whisper in your ear uniquely, that is just for you. And that as we follow that guidance, the unique way in which you are here to be in this world and to serve and to be a teacher of God, or if that feels too much, a teacher of love, of compassion, of peace, of beauty, in the exact way that you are called to be that and do that. That's my vision of holy and sacred community. That's my vision. And that I give my gift in my particular way. And what my mission is to inspire individuals to realize their divinity, their Christed nature, their beauty, the gifts that they are. To inspire you to realize this about yourself, so that then, oh my gosh, then I can go about creating as I'm supposed to create and give in the world. Then everybody is in their right and perfect place, giving their gifts perfectly, loving one another. I need the gift that you have. I need the gift that you have, because it can only express in the unique and divine way that you bring it forth. So this is the vision of the ministry, of the community, of the walk that we are invited to. And imagine, if you will, getting an invitation. Imagine in your mind's eye, like you go to your mailbox, whatever it looks like for you, or maybe it comes in your inbox, and you open it up, and you look at this invitation. So what is an invitation? It's a request, isn't it? It's a request for you, for your presence, for your participation in something. So you're being invited. And think of what it feels like when you open up an invitation. It feels good. There's a little bit of mystery about it. There's a little bit of anticipation. Oh, I wonder who it's from. I wonder what it's for. I wonder what is being requested of me. And guess what? It's addressed right to you. Isn't that remarkable? It has your name on it. To you. And what is your name? What is your name? It's your nature. It's calling to what your nature is. It's calling to how one recognizes you. How it's not unlike a sound vibration. There's a sound vibration to your heavenly name. And that this invitation is addressed to you with your name, your vibration, your heart, your gift being called forth. So the invitation is to you, and it's from somebody, right? Now, in this conversation, I'm imagining that it's that higher self. We might call it the Holy Spirit. We might call it the Christ consciousness. We might call it the awakened mind. Some might call it God. Some might call it Allah. As I like to say, in quoting one of my teachers, Ernest Holmes, I don't care what you call it. You can call it potato if you want to. But allow it to speak to you. And so it's the higher self inviting the self that we identify in this world with, the perceptions that we identify, and it's saying, come home, beloved. Come home. I want you to participate with me. I want you to remember and realize that you are as God created, not as the identity that you have in the world, what you think you do for a living, the roles that you think that you play. No. It's more than that. Those are the things that get us along our journey. One thing leading to another, right? One thing leads to another. As you let your heartstrings pull you, it leads you perfectly to what your divine gifts are. So the invitation is to you. It's from you. And generally speaking, what is an invitation? It's for a party. Or it's for a gathering. Like this is a gathering. This is a spiritual gathering. Think of the things that we get invited to. They tend to mark aspects of our journey in this life. You know, we can baby showers or birthdays, you know, the appearance of us in this realm. The reappearance, in a way. The graduations that we have. In a way, everybody here has graduated, right? We're all in a different dynamic right now. We've graduated into an experience that says, hello, we're ready for more now. And so graduating, sometimes death is a graduation. Sometimes the releasing of this experience called a memorial or a celebration of a life. You know, so there are different types of gatherings that we have as humanity that are thresholds that we cross and that we mark in this human experience. But they're all echoes for the voice of God. Birth, journey, growth, graduations, releasing. And we're doing this continuously. But the good news is it's a spiral upward. It's a spiral upward. And in this experience, we're called to give our gifts. So when you're invited, so you have this invitation that you have that's just for you, you have a choice to make, don't you? We get to say yes or no. your acceptance. Our acceptance is required. It's fine to say no. Remember, no is a complete sentence. Nah, I'm not into it right now. No, period. Not yet. Not yet. Can be a not yet. But the encouragement is that as we court the divine heart, which is what we're going to be doing over the next couple months. We're going on this curriculum. We're going on this journey. It's a journey of the heart. It's a journey that brings forth an accelerated evolution of consciousness. And it is still that journey without distance to a destination that's never changed. It's still to home to yourself. But you get to say yes. Now, my encouragement is for you to understand, for us to understand the power of our yes. Do you know the minute that you say yes to an invitation, something shifts in us? Think about it. When we say yes to an invitation, our mind automatically goes to the event. We activate our imagination, our creative power. I don't know about you, but like when I accept an invitation, one of the first things I start to think about is, what am I going to wear? Right? What am I going to wear? How am I going to show up? Who's going to be there? And what am I intending? It begins to, our yes activates our acceptance. We're accepting I'm not the host. I'm going to be hosted. I'm going to allow somebody, a higher self, to direct, to host me. Which it would be very rude to go to a party and tell the host what to do, wouldn't it? And so in this invitation, we're practicing this acceptance and this idea of allowance, and we're imagining how we're going to be, who we're going to be, how we're going to suit up and show up. What energy are we going to bring? We're automatically setting our intention in mind the minute we say yes. What do you do next? You prepare. You prepare yourself. You prepare yourself to go. You put it on your calendar. You plan a little bit. What's it going to take for me to be there? Do I bring a gift? In this invitation, your gift is your presence, your attention, and your full appreciation of one another and the gift that you bring. One of the things that we've been modeling here is very similar to a pilgrimage. You guys find your way here. You've been invited here. You made a plan. You said yes. You thought, I wonder what it's going to be like, but I'm going to go. And you agree that you're going to go along with this plan, at least for this period of time. And we've created it such that you cross the threshold. You leave something at the door. Some might call it what's the admission? You know? And what we're leaving at the door are those thoughts, the negative thoughts and the feelings. With the sage, as we cross the threshold, we're letting it go. We're releasing it. We're letting it go. And then you walk across the threshold and the gift is you and your presence. What's been calling you in your life? Has there been something calling you? A desire of your heart? Something that whispers in your ear? Something you love to do, to partake of? Something that you totally forget yourself when you participate in it. What's calling you? I wanted to share something that's been calling me. So trying to think, yeah. Since the changes in my personal life over the last month or so, I remembered a call of my heart that I had forgotten about. So I turned 60 this year, and it's in October, yeah, and so I'm not there yet, right? No. And I remembered that an intention I had, a desire I had, was to walk the Camino, to go on a pilgrimage. The Camino de Santiago. Right. Yes, thank you. And it's, many go on this pilgrimage. It's of varying miles, but it's like a 500 mile if you do a certain pathway. And it's something I've wanted to do. I don't really know why exactly, other than I know I love the concept and the idea of pilgrimage. I view my life as a pilgrimage. I'm following a journey. And it's an invitation, if you will, because it's the whisper of the heart. And you see, I had my life planned in a certain way this year that would not have allowed me to go for the amount of time I would have needed to do this particular pilgrimage that I had in mind for my 60th birthday, because it's the pilgrimage and then I spend a week in Paris. And so that's kind of like this idea I've had for a while. But the way my life was set up previously, I couldn't do it. Well, guess what? Now I can. I mean, there's time, it's open, and I can go ahead and do that. And so it was still in my mind because I thought, well, maybe I can't. Maybe there is something blocking me still. My right hip hurts real bad. Like sometimes I limp and I'm not really sure I could do such a journey. And so, that's a block. Maybe finances are going to be a block. Maybe we have this new ministry that I'm really excited about also. Do I really want to be away for a couple of weeks? All of these things begin to give evidence for a no to the invitation, or maybe a not now. Something happened this past week where I just thought to myself, well, you know what? I'm never going to know unless I start training. And so I'm never going to know if my hip's going to be okay. I'm never going to know if I'm capable of doing this unless I start to dedicate myself to it now, unless I start to commit to it now, unless I start to plan now. So my maybe became a yes, and then I began to commit. I could imagine myself doing it. I could imagine myself on the Camino. And I woke up on Monday morning on Sunday after this, we went for a walk, and it was maybe I didn't know how far it was, but I was certain it was far. And I said to Tony, I said, do you think we've gone a mile yet? And he looked at me, because he doesn't know I'm thinking about this Camino thing. And he looks at me and goes, probably not even half a mile. And I'm like, oh, I want to turn around already. And so we went a little bit further, and I'm like, let's turn around. And then we got back home, and we got in the car, and we started clocking what the distances in our neighborhood is. So the next day, Monday morning, I got up, and I was going to do the longest distance, and I decided to do it at 11 o'clock, right? And it's hot in Spain. And so, and so I go out and I'm very determined. And I make about 3/4 of the longest distance when I have my phone with me and I call for help because of heat stroke more than anything. And so I started all week this journey of training. And what I discovered is that sometimes there's pain on my Camino. And sometimes I persist through that pain and I keep walking. I haven't even gotten there yet, but I've started my Camino. I've started it already. The invitation was there. I don't need to go anywhere. I can start it in consciousness now. And as I walk, which is what my Camino is about, I dedicate every step to God. I dedicate every step to prayer. I dedicate every step that I can to allowing the invitation of Spirit to speak to me, through me, as me. And when the distraction of pain or heat comes upon me, I check in with self-care, but I go on. Now, I have a husband who loves to take care of me. On my Camino yesterday, it looked like it was gonna rain. And I see him in the car with an umbrella, or I see him in the car like to pick me up. And I'm like, it rains on the Camino. And if I don't have what I need, I'm gonna know now what I need the next time it rains. I did take the umbrella. He gave me an umbrella. And I walked with an umbrella. I'm on a Camino, I'm on a journey, and it's something that whispers as an invitation in my heart. The question is, what's the invitation upon your heart? The one that maybe you got in the mail a year ago, or 2 years, or 10 years ago, that's still whispering in your ear, tugging at your heart. I guarantee you, my beloved friends, that whatever it is, whatever that invitation is for you, that it's leading you home. It's a journey without distance to a destination that's never changed. And it's guaranteed. It's guaranteed that you will arrive, that you will say yes at some point. And when and as we do what we do in this spiritual community, is we cheer each other on our Caminos, on our journeys of our hearts, of our way home together. You see, all along the way, I know who you are as Spirit. I know what you are as a Christed being. And I know how you serve. I may not know the specifics, but I know it's got something to do with love, with peace, with compassion, with joy, with beauty. And that we're here to cheer each other on, not distract each other with the dramas of the world. I don't want to do that any longer. This is what I'm about. This is what I'm about. This is my ministry.